K or something like that. Someone
It would
at
be
a large
fun.
number of points. But yeah, at least let people grind it out and earn it and play the game.
I think it would be fair if they released one nano core, like one actual purple core that people could like get for even if it's like 200K. I don't think people would complain about that because they buy the season pass for what maybe two maybe twice and just grind that out and they'd save up for it and no one would be mad. But the fact that the only two purple cores in the entire game are both from whale events is kind of messed up.
It really is.
I don't think Nettie's quite getting the idea yet. I don't think they've quite gotten the message that carriers and dreadnoughts aren't just for whales, right? Nanocores aren't just for whales,
Pretty much. And
you know.
and this is the thing, right? So Chicken is making the statement, nothing wrong with adding a little bit of haha to a bad situation. The fact of the matter is, if they really want to make things right, they could just say, well, we're making things right with those people. I haven't seen a report where they said we're making things right with those people. Now, if you have a link to one, then I would be more than happy to check it out. But if they don't have that, then we have no idea if they're making things right with these pilots. And these are our community members. This is their player base, and we all pay a premium fee. Not to mention devote countless hours of time to play the game. And so when stuff like that happens, I feel that companies do need to be accountable and say, guys, we're going to do what we can to actually evaluate the situation and to try to make things right between our player base. And this is something that's not happening. I feel like they could have scored like 20 points if they had just said, okay, so this went sideways. We apologize, working with the people who had devices that were damaged to make things right. If they had said that, I think that they would have gained a lot of respect. But rather than saying that, they send us heat sinks, coolant, and, you know, I think what was it, 30,000 skill points?
30,000 skill points.
30,000
That
skill
that is the value
of someone's
of
phone.
a mobile device.
That is the
Yeah.
value of the phone. Yeah, correct. And these people are just supposed to, continue to do this, and you just be okay. And realistically speaking, it's stupid. You know what I mean? So we can say what we want to, and I'm actually reading some of Chicken's comments. He's trying to play devil's advocate right now, but realistically, dude, it doesn't matter if they didn't announce it. Then what the fuck are they doing? So and anyone else is gonna say the same thing. I mean, what are you guys doing about it? Like we don't care to hear the we don't care to hear the other side. We care to hear what you're actually doing about it, because these are our community members. So you made a boo boo, fix it.
That's
Uh,
right.
but aside from that, I mean, you don't have to take part in the whale event. You don't have to do those things. You can play through some of the little storyline thingies. I suppose that's kind of cool. It will require you, if you are living in nullsec, to actually go out to highsec with your Tech 10 battleship, as I believe that one of the second mission actually requires that you go out there and do this mission. It might be in low sec or something like that, and you have to take a Tech 10 ship or higher. This is the recommendation. And so it is, you know, it that's kind of nice if you want to do that. It unfortunately will not earn you enough lucky points to actually be able to do anything. Um, it's it's just there. So go ahead and have a little bit of fun with that. The exhibition war games, or the interstellar exhibition war games, I should say, is kind of cool, I guess. I mean, it depends on how you feel about capital warfare and things like that. Um, you know, it's there for people. It's acquired taste, right? Um, Me and my sister were actually having a little bit of a competition on who could get the most points doing that whole thing. So enjoy it while it lasts, because pretty soon all the blingy capital ships that you can fly are just gonna go bye bye. On to the Q&A section, though. So the first question is concerning battleships, which apparently battleships are super weak. And And as all know, one hunting cruiser can catch one battleship easily, but battleships which class gap is only one with capital ships, and could never catch a capital ship. So I was really confused when I read this, but Benzie went on this rant. We could talk about that on the content creators corner. But Benzie did drop a video saying, guys, stop asking about battleships. They're in a good place. So the response here is kind of like, okay, guys, I'm afraid this change will not be made at this point. The reason is that the combat stats of cruisers, battleships, and capital ships with PvP fittings are in line with our expectations. We don't think it's reasonable that a PvE fitting a battleship, you know, it not being able to defeat a PvP fit cruiser in a one-on-one battle, that's not really a problem, because what I think what a lot of the people who are asking for this want, they want to have the cake and they want to eat the cake as well. They want to be able to glass fit some of their battleships and still be able to like smoke cruisers, and it doesn't work that way. That's not how the game works. The game is always about balance and making tactical decisions on, on what you're going to fit in order to get the expected results. If you want to blow through, rats as quickly as humanly possible, then yeah, you're going to glass fit, but the compromise is that if someone comes in a PvP fit cruiser, even if it's just a Kovops cruiser, they're probably going to smoke you.
Yeah. This guy who's saying that he wants cruisers to take on battleships, make some sort of change here. Battleships take on cruisers. That's not what they're for. I mean, battleships are supposed to kill cruisers, and if you want to fit your thing PvP, do it. You can, but if you want your whale ratting ship to stand up to an Ashimu, good luck. I mean, let Blackliner know where you are in low-sec ratting, and he'll come out and test your fit for you. Just bring some IP.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just as long as you have your stuff compensated once you're done, then it's fine. I mean, Maddie yeets ships all the time. Like, Naglafars. I mean, it's not a big deal now, is it? So, there's the second question. Please, can you add a counter for the matching page in Wargames so you can see how many people are in the queue? And the response is, thanks for your suggestion. In response to the problem that the waiting time for faction Wargames is relatively long, in the short term, we will add a feature to display the number of people in the queue. So that's good. They are working on trying to implement that. They're also working on implementing additional game modes. So they heard my complaints from like 6 months ago, and that's great because we do need more war game modes. I do believe that Eve has a number of different war game modes for you to take part in, and I think that it's great that it's making it to Echo. So thumbs up to them for looking at faction war games and going, hey guys, we could do a little bit better with that. I just really wish that the loyalty point store could use a little bit of love. I mean, it's great that you can earn those debris and stuff in it, but it'd be great to see a few more cool things in there as well. Just saying. Please, if you disagree, tell me.
Wargames, I think is coming along. I mean, I loved it when they did the safe and dangerous space. It was a great place to try out your fit. Get out of your brown points. Don't be scared of capitals anymore. Bring them out there and try it. See how many nanocore fit Omen trainers it takes to take out a dreadnought. This is a great place to do it. And faction war games I think is such a cool part of this game. And they've had so many different types of faction war games events. I'm just waiting for them to put it all together and get us a really cool game mode.
I think that it will be a really cool game mode if they continue to work on it a little piece at a time and continue to refine it and stuff like that, and don't smoke anybody's phone in the process. It'll be great, right? Yeah, I mean it's coming along, and for that I think that it is worth praising them for for getting that part of it on point. So really happy to see that. And the fourth question: fleets are crucial for full cooperative multiplayer experiences in Eve. Would it be possible to enhance the fleet interface to add additional information about fleet member status? Whether they're logged in, what system, etc. I kind of wish that he had included this specifically. Could you also please, add a focus bar in there so that you can, you can actually set certain people like other Logi, guardianships, and FCs in there, similar to what we do in EO, so that you can actually you can see the status of these ships at all times, and you don't have to worry about like keeping them locked all the time. It's just a great feature, and so I would love to see them add a feature like that. The fleet interface could use a lot of work. I can understand maybe they don't want to make the fleet cap limits as high as it is in EVE Online, because you could literally fit an entire 200-person fleet into a single fleet over there, but it could still use a little love. I'm just saying it is kind of bare bones at the moment, and it's the reason why we're playing the game, right? The fleets.
Yeah, it's because the fleets. I actually kind of like this question that this guy's asking about indicators for fleet stuff. One of the things I'd like to see that I think they're getting closer to the ability to set up is you could totally build into this fleet system a thing that will allow you to log out and receive a notification that says your fleet commander says log in. Man, if they had an in-game way to tell you when you're logged out to spring the trap and log in, ooh, I'd like it.
Oh my gosh. So now people don't even have to use Discord to do this, right? We don't need Discord for log off traps.
We're getting closer, I mean, there's only a few things left in Discord that aren't in the game. Things like in-game voice chat, which there are plenty of mobile games that have this. We could be getting there. I mean, you got these corp missions and corp contracts and corp. What is it called? Corp mission contract or something like that. That kind of replaces the corp buyback system. We're getting there, right? Maybe a calendar would be nice.
A calendar would definitely be nice, so you could schedule these things. I don't know about a voice system would be great too, right? I don't know, maybe I'm the only person that has this problem, but I remember my last CEO had this problem as well, where if you open the game and you're playing Eve and you happen to log into a Discord voice channel, before you get there, it will freeze your game. It's an iPhone issue apparently, and I tried it I think 2 weeks ago for a CTA, and it's still doing that. So I would really appreciate it if we did have a communications in the game, but at what cost, right? At what cost are we going to be getting it? I think it's nice, but what is the compromise like to system stability that we're going to have to face to get that? What kind of content won't be added in if if we ask them to work on on a voice comm system for us, which yes, it could be nice, but even EO doesn't have it.
Right. Maybe they're waiting on this because Discord is so prevalent. I've heard that over at EO they use people using a different type of voice comms. I forget the name of the app, but it has multi-layered voice comms and all this stuff. It's not Skype or
You mean
Zoom or
TeamSpeak?
Teams.
Yeah.
Is it TeamSpeak they're
We're all
using these
on
days? I thought it was
TeamSpeak.
a newer one.
No, it's still TeamSpeak. That's
Still TeamSpeak?
It's still the standard over there. They
Yeah,
get
yeah.
everybody into TeamSpeak. Yeah, it's kind of nice, and I'm actually just kind of going through some of the Sound of Us comments, and Crimson King says I'd rather have pings than voice chat. And I kind of agree. You have any idea how many times I've either led a fleet or been in a fleet where we're sitting there and we're about to go to the next phase of our operation or whatever, and we have to tell people, guys, if you're leaving or if you're not coming, please drop the fleet so we know you're not coming. And so we have people that just log out and don't drop fleet anyway. And we get to destination and we're like, okay, so I guess we're gonna have to go down the list and kick everybody that's not, that's not in the fleet, right? And sometimes you end up kicking people who are simply on their way to the site, right? I just think that it could have been helpful. I'm not saying that it's up there at the top of the list, like, oh gosh, we need this done like yesterday, but we definitely need one. We need some kind of indication, and we definitely need something a little bit better than the system we currently have. We need a system where we can actually put our number one, that'd be great.
Hello and welcome,
And
Chicken.
two,
Thank you for being here, my friend.
just allow
Thanks
us to
for having me.
put
It's
focus
an
boxes,
honor.
have a focus
First off,
to put
what
critical
corporation and alliance
in
are
our
you in?
fleet in that box,
This
especially
time
with
I'm
the
in the
modules.
Corporation F
It
Society
sucks
with the
for me
tag
personally
Who
that I have to
in the
keep
Alliance.
my main
No,
anchor
please
locked
stop.
so that
Oh,
I
hello and
can
welcome,
get my reps
Chicken.
in,
Thank you for being here, my friend.
So I have to keep them
Thanks
locked all the
for
time.
having me. It's
Whereas,
an honor.
maybe I don't
First
keep
off,
them locked.
what corporation and
Small
alliance are
improvements,
you in?
little things.
This time I'm
Generally
in the
speaking, though, I think
Corporation
that some of the
F
stuff is pretty
Society
good.
with
The
the
faction war
tag
games
Who
thing, that could be
in
pretty
the
good.
Alliance.
I do believe that's a good direction.
Pleasure.
I believe that I skipped
Thank
this
you, too.
question. If we were
Bye-bye.
if and when our NPC stations
Bye-bye.
going to be removed from nullsec. Not to include the ITT stations having this safe space for others to take refuge and essentially squat in territory with no repercussions, or even changing the mechanic of exploiting station games and are able to, where they're able to dock when they're scrammed, all while you can't dock while scrammed in a pass or citadel. And the response is there are currently no plans to remove the nullsec stations. However, regarding the fact that you're unable to dock or being unable to dock when scrammed can indeed avoid the excessive protection for combat players who will consider making that change. Oh my gosh, someone else take this.
I was watching, I think it was a Benzi video yesterday, and he made a really good point. Forgive me if it wasn't Benzi, sorry, content creators. That was saying, well, where are the pirates gonna dock? Like, what are they gonna do when they're in hostile territory? You know, when Burr come on out, where are they gonna hang out? That's just, I like having pirates come to my place. I like being a pirate and going to your place. And but I do see the benefit to being able to scram somebody coming out of a or trying to go into a station. That could be a thing.
That could be a thing. But I
Or
mean,
station games.
as far as everything is concerned with people camping NPC stations and stuff, I can't speak for everyone, but we don't have that problem in Burr. I mean, if someone decides to come with a fleet into Burr space, we blow them up. I mean, yesterday OG came into to Burr space, and they got run out. Like they went north. I don't know if someone told them that Burr was fleeting up to come after them or whatever. But before the response fleet could actually get rolling, they were gone. So, we're literally a couple of jumps out from an NPC station. In fact, we use the NPC station ourselves. And so it's kind of like, guys, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Not only that, but I think that it's a unique kind of, viewpoint on that whole thing. I mean, in EO, do you put all your stuff in citadels? Like, I mean, no, you don't put you don't put critical assets in citadels. All those really nice blueprint originals that you have fully researched and stuff, where do they go? They're sitting in a high-sec hangar somewhere. You bring copies into nullsec. You don't put anything hyper valuable in your citadels in Eve, online at least. Here we have this mentality where we just drop that stuff anywhere. But I don't know. With that part, removing the NPC stations, I don't know. You could do it if you want. They could not do it. We don't care. I mean, we've logged out in people's space, and we've said they're logged out for days, and it does not matter. Now, it would help them. It would help, like, Care Bears in preparing for, like, not having to worry about us dropping a bunch of ships, because, we have targets. And so we just go and sit in an NPC station and just drop a bunch of ships there. And when we're ready, we just go in there, get a ship, and decide that we're going to smack them around. And now that we have jump clones, it makes it even easier to go in there and smack them around. By the way, how's
Absolutely.
everyone loving the jump clones? I mean, that is another thing that kind of got overshadowed from these problems in the Interstellar Festival, but we got jump clones, which is an awesome feature.
Finally.
They
Finally.
kept telling us that no, we weren't getting them. They were like, no, you're not getting them. No, you're not getting them. And then one day they just go, you can have jump clones, but we'll have them for you this week. It's like, guys, what happened? What happened? You know, like, what made you change your mind? We're getting jump clones now? Like, dude, this is good stuff. But
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
I'm liking it. I mean, it feels like we're inching closer and closer to all the really cool features. The cool features, at least, that are in EO. You know, maybe we'll have clone vat bays on a Rorqual. You know,
good
I mean,
luck.
if they ever did something like removing NPC stations, where are you going to put your ships that you're going to reship it into
Good point.
after blowing up? You should be able to put them into a carrier or Rorqual.
Technically. Yeah,
know?
technically. I would love to see that whole thing addressed because, yeah, we don't have fleet hangars in Eve Echoes and we don't have maintenance bays in Eve Echoes. And for those of you that don't know what those things do, one of them is basically kind of like a storehouse for stuff for your fleet that your fleet members can access if you give them permission to. And the other one is specifically for ships that are fully fitted. It's kind of like a mobile depot, which we also don't have in Eve Echoes, where you can just like go over. You're not docking or anything, but it does allow you to change the fittings on your ship or perhaps switch the ship you're currently flying for a new ship. And so that would be a really helpful feature. So if they removed all the NPC stations, something like that would be very valuable. Having carriers and having super carriers would be very valuable. And yes, having clone vat bays in Rorquals and Titans would be extraordinary. But we can only hope, we can only speculate right now. You know, this is what we have, and hopefully they make enough money from this Interstellar festival that they're throwing that they can continue with pretty good content, you know, over the next few months. Of course, we know that the anniversary event will probably be rolling out around August. I believe that's the official anniversary for the game. So you're looking at that in about 2 months. What they're going to announce, who knows? But this news segment will probably be yay long the week that comes out. It's always really long.
I hope they make it just an extraordinary anniversary. You know, last year getting all of the IP, it's a huge deal. You know, it allows you to fly your ships to death over and over again. And if they can make this year's anniversary just fantastic, I'd love it. And I'm so glad that NetEase has finally released their Diablo Catastrophe, I think it's called. Pass that over to Blizzard, let them handle it, take their devs back, and push them into making this anniversary just phenomenal.
I completely agree with you. I mean, when it comes down to it, the devs are humans just like us. They're allowed to make mistakes. They're allowed to make mistakes. We're all, you know, we're allowed to make mistakes, right? I think that it's the way that the game needs to be handled, you know, going forward. Not that you're not going to make mistakes, but just take care of your community. And sometimes that's harder than it sounds. It's harder than it sounds to do stuff like that. It's harder than it sounds because you have to take care of your community plus answer to corporate overlords. And these days, that's the #1 thing that's killing, you know, most games. The games aren't really made for the player base anymore. It's made for the corporate overlords.
Right,
Blizzard,
it's made for the shareholders. But we're the shareholders.
We
We're
are
the
the
ones that keep dumping $100 a month into this game.
shoot, in the last month, I think that me and my sister we invested 177. So yeah, we are investing into the game. And yeah, I agree with I believe it's Crimson King that just wrote that. Oh, Blizzard, how you have fallen. Yeah, Blizzard is killing me. I agree with Chicken too. Yeah, consistency would be good. You know, it'd be great just to have like consistency. And yeah, people playing station games with 1 minute of immunity is a little bit overkill. And what can we say? Just it's a little bit overkill. you go into EO and there is no undock protection. Do I think that we need it in EV Echoes? Absolutely. Do we think that it needs to be for people who want to play scouting games and stuff like that? Probably not. I mean, we haven't had that guy who's come out, I think, on day one when retrievers were the big thing, fully rigged and stuff like that, undocked and got popped immediately right outside 319. It was glorious, except for him. As far as what Chicken is saying, and you know, because I know it sounds like we're bashing on them, what does it take to make an outstanding event? Money. Okay. So here's the thing. Do you consider the Halloween event from when the game first launched to be an outstanding event?
A lot of
Yeah.
people are loving it.
That was the best event that they released this entire time. The entire time they released all these events, and that was the #1 event. They have not released an event that good since the game launched in 2020. And they did that off of nothing more than, I guess, what money they made off of launch. So before we get into this thing and say, well, it takes money to put on a good event, they put on a good event with less resources 2 years ago. So no, that's not an excuse. It's okay.
It still surprises me that that Halloween event came out, what, 3 months after the game was launched?
And it was the best
Right
event
at the
they've ever
beginning,
released.
and it was great.
It
Yeah.
was the best event they ever released, and they never did another one. And so, I mean, I understand that they need to make money. They deserve to make money. We all want the game to prosper. But realistically, if they didn't push so hard into trying to force people to spend money, people would spend money just because they love the game. People spend money on EO skins that don't even matter, dressing their clones in nice clothing and stuff like that, just because they love the game, because they play the game. That's it, you know? So, no, you don't have to make whale events every time you want to, every time you need to make money. You know, there's no reason why the Interstellar Bazaar couldn't be an event that people were looking forward to every single solitary year when it passed around. Nowadays, it's kind of like, well, that's the next well event. You know, it's just the way that it is. So, I'm not bashing them, but I do think that we need more events like the Halloween event from 2020. The game had just launched. There's no excuse for dropping all these events that just aren't worth, they aren't worth it. It's just not the way that it is. But it's New Eden news for this week, and I think that we do have at least one person that's dropped a few $1,000s on this game. I'm hoping maybe that you know, maybe we can get them on the show to talk about their spending experience, because I'd be most interesting. I'd be most interested in hearing what they have to say concerning that. But yeah.
Zell, if you're listening, come on in, man. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, come on in, dude. We want to hear about how you did this one. But right now, you know what I love? A good hip hop remix that's been turned into EDM, especially when Tiesto does it.
I did get it for my coveter too as well. Hey Sheev, Death Race. The ore prices on those skins are ridiculous high. Yes, they are. They are really high. So what you should do is head over to EV Echoes Discord. They are giving out 50% codes. So what I actually did, I bought this for half the price, as well as the miner. But yeah, it's like it was still like $100, but I felt it was worth it this time. But yeah, I don't normally put so much money in the game, but I really like this skin. So I would hate myself if I didn't get the glitching skin. So yeah, grab a 50% off and you can do it. Now I wouldn't do it if I got a 30%, and I was really lucky. I've been trying to get another 50% here. If I do, then I will give that away. But so far no luck. I mean, it's netty. Some people the music is just right. Perfect. Hey Philip. So some people could not get into the Discord for New Eden Radio. So I do this so you can listen to the radio. But just so you know, it's the New Eden Radio. What you doing? I am live streaming the New Eden Radio. So the New Eden Radio is a show on Discord, on Eve Echoes, and I am live streaming their get together here, as well as their discussions. Now it's just music for a while, and then we'll be talking again. You guys having fun without me? No, we're not. You better get over here, man. Bring your shit. Some people are talking and telling me to do a skin competition, like a short one, but I'm not sure that the radio will have time for me to do it. But if they want me to, then of course I will do it with the people here. So there will be a prize if that is the case. But so far I've heard nothing except people wanting it to be so. Yeah. Do waves. The wave dance move. What is that? She's not learned that one yet. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't learned that one. I don't know what the wave dance move. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. I can only dance, like old guys can. Tango and stuff. Yeah. Do the cha-cha-cha then. Yeah, I could do that. If only I had a bigger room to record in, I could do some dance moves for you. Maybe that's where my YouTube is going. Learning out, like teaching how to dance. That old man dance, right? Yeah, the old man dance. I can do that one pretty good. I actually won a competition during the old man dance. Yeah. Yeah, party, man. Party, Damien. I see something, hold on. Look at this one, a modified. And here we got Elondria. What do we like about this skin, boys? What do we like about this skin? She need to learn how to make skins, man. Oh, it's my birthday! In 12 minutes? Dude, someone is keeping track? What? 12 minutes? Did you know, like, on the minute where you got born? That's too pink. Oh yeah, that's too pink. Even this one is a bit too pink. I mean, it's okay. But I'm never in the competition anyway, so I can do whatever with my ships. I just felt it was pretty cool. I don't have a pink one, so this is my pink one. Alright, I think they will be back talking here in a second, so I will just mute myself and disappear. They don't give... Don't they give you, like, time of birth of your birth certificate? Dude, time of... is like, when I got born, they said, like, it was a dark night. That's pretty much when I got born. Like a Thursday. A rainy, dark Thursday. That's when I was born, so I don't know. So I guess like a week ago was my birthday, I guess, because it was pretty dark and rainy. I don't even listen to this kind of music. It kind of works. 4:37 and on a Thursday. Holy crap. Nice. I was probably born like 666 or something. Yeah, I know that's not even possible, but Cinnaball, I choose you. Eight minutes to my birthday. Are you fishing for something? You want a birthday cake? You know, whoever message next gets 50 million. Oh. Oh, really? Are you supposed to give money when it's your birthday? Comidas in Kaldari system, except for fleet, bring bait lodge and shuttles. Yeah, shuttles. That's the thing. Yeah, cause I had a job, so I have to give. Amazing. That's very nice of you. Oh, I think Chicken is going into the studio now, so maybe we get some Chicken talk. I did a podcast with Chicken, by the way. It's gonna be released, I think, tomorrow or on Tuesday. Good talk. When I didn't have a job, when I was young, others gave me gifts and money. Yeah, of course. So we'd be reciprocate. Dude, you can't say that words. I can't read those. Reciprocating. I don't even know what that means. You mean you're giving back? What's getting released? The chicken pod. The chicken podcast that I did about Eve Echoes. And also Chicken is coming into the studio right now, so Mackenzie and the others will talk. I think he will be in there. Let me see. They're asking him to join at least. Oh, as I told, I wish I could. That would have been okay. So yeah, maybe he can't. Oh yeah, he can't. Okay, that's bad. All right. So Cinnabon getting 50 million ISK from me, I guess. Yep, easy money. Cinnabon is making money, man. I appreciate the back and forth. I think I covered both viewpoints very well. Cookies. Man, this is an easy podcast for me. Like a stream. I mean, not a podcast. I mean a stream. I don't have to do anything. Black Liner is in the studio from Fear. Maybe he's gonna talk. I just wanna devour space. Sphere launchers again. They call the event. They can call the event whatever they want. Yeah, yeah. I think it's up. So I'll be quiet.
Your voice and your weekly update on all things Eve. This is your Eve Echo State of the War report.
All right, and this is New Eden's FM State of the War. Now, granted, I do kill a lot of stuff with Burr. At least I was killing a lot of stuff before I had to tackle college finals, right? So, so until next week, the conclusion of class this term, I'm pretty much not killing anything. You know what I mean? I ain't killing shit. But apparently there is some killing going on with Fear. I mean, Ross, please tell us what's going on with this.
Yeah, I mean, Blackliner would probably be able to tell us a little bit more about the not too thermonuclear war that's going on out in Delvin Fountain area, but supposedly it's gotten a little more interesting in the last week or two. Am I right, Black?
Yeah. Hi, Rosalind. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we had a fight, a proper fight back on the timer for YO, which was obviously the center of BLAP space before it's Japan. But we had a TSC fleet with Fear and Boop, and that fight was against the likes of Burr and No, and then some other entities that came along for the fight. But we had 400 in system and had some really great content.
Holy moly!
So we that was the first time I've had a black screen in quite a few months. As much as I'd have preferred not to have the black screen, it was nice to get back into those larger scale fights.
For sure. I mean, I haven't seen a 400-man fleet in the back corners of Delve pockets in a long time, but it makes sense that it's at Yo. I mean, how weird is it to see a different corp tag sitting over Yo that's held the same corp tag since day one of Citadel's coming out? I mean, times are a-changing, am I right?
Yeah, I mean it's well, I was living there in YO for the longest time, and it was definitely kind of emotional, I think. Obviously now that's the last of the BLAP citadels that were in Delve and now in Tosis over to the respective entities. So our hope is, I guess, that brings a little bit of stability. Obviously, hopefully not a drought of content going forward, but yeah, it was nice to have an event to finish and put the final nail in the proverbial coffin.
Sure, put a cap on the bottle there. Man, it's crazy to see that not every system filled with citadels anymore out there. It's been quite the war activities to get that finalized and finished up. Right, I do see that Fear has been able to take over quite a few systems where the neighbors used to be. Has that been?
Yeah, so we've.
Yeah.
Well, we've had some really nice growth in recent weeks and months. Obviously, Fear was founded with Al as the kind of the cornerstone corp, but we've been out sort of recruiting and scouting, and we've had some entities that have decided to join us. So they've given us that bolster of player numbers, and one of the things I think that's been really nice about it is one of the things that Fear like to have is to have corps kind of stand up for themselves and manage themselves. So we've had the likes of SMT and Pest, who are both residing in Losec, PvP Pirate Corps, that have moved in to Fear space and have Intosis the Citadels around our little corner of space. And we've got some other groups that are coming in, bringing kind of really solid indie as well. So hopefully the formula that we've got for how we run the Alliance will kind of bear fruit as we go forward into the future.
For sure. I mean, this is the way to do it. I mean, this is the natural evolution. I've been saying this since day one when Fear split out of BLAP, is that the evolution of a corp, starts with a corp that joins an alliance that outgrows the alliance and finds their own new way to run it, splits off to build their own, recruits different members and different corps, and eventually, potentially, takes over the space of the old crew they used to run with. I mean, that's how this game is supposed to go, right?
Yeah, I think the other thing is it's very difficult. I think when you've got you end up with a certain amount of inertia, I think, in a lot of these organizations, and the bigger they get, the harder they are to manage. And one of the things that we're really trying to kind of keep at the forefront of it is learning, not necessarily mistakes, but things that haven't necessarily worked in the past, and trying to repeat ourselves with.
Absolutely. I've had questions that have come to me in the last couple of weeks, especially in the last couple of days, now that there are Fear tags all over old BLAP space. The question that comes to me that I get asked, and I don't want to answer for myself, is Fear the new BLAP? Can you sort of talk about how that is or isn't, or related to the reality of the situation?
I don't think it is. Obviously, there's a number of members of the management within Fear who were members of the management within BLAP. But equally, as I say, one of the things that we started off with when we did lay that cornerstone of having Hell as one of the main groups was that we're very, very open about what we can offer when people join, and equally that it isn't something that becomes very top-heavy. That's both from an in-game perspective, but also from a real-life perspective. If you have something that you've got a couple of guys at the top that have to do everything and have to wipe everybody's nose and change everybody's diapers, that can really burn you out. And I know for myself, when I was sort of within BLAP, and I was by no means doing anything like the work that some of the other guys were doing, you do get yourself to that point where you feel like if you go off of Discord for 6 hours, you're going to come back and it's all going to have fallen apart. So with the groups that we do have joining Fear, with the corps that we do have, they're all deciding amongst themselves. They're vetting their own players, and they're having representatives that can take a bit of that load and hopefully keep it as a really kind of healthy and positive atmosphere going forward.
Absolutely. Do you remember when the space controlled by Happy Bees was taken over by a group called EX, with many of the prominent members that still live there joining this new alliance? They were saying this isn't a rebranding, and it isn't just a change in management, it's a whole new thing. And I think that's important, right? For people to see, if you're going for a new thing, go for a new thing. Don't let people keep saying, "Oh, this is just the new Hell Alliance." No. This is a whole new thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's so much opportunity, and I think obviously there's been certain kind of pokes at us being like, "Oh, well, who are you? You're a small group," but that is the evolution of the game. The small groups become big groups, and they don't just start as big groups.
Sure.
The other really nice thing with it is if you do have people come and they say, "Oh, well, do you guys do this?" It's like, well, if we don't do that, like that doesn't matter because each of the corps within the group are able to kind of lead themselves, be independent, and kind of create what they want to create. Then they have the support of the rest of the corps and the rest of the alliance. But that's why we are taking on groups that don't necessarily have the same playstyle as our existing members when they join, but then that becomes a playstyle that we learn from them and we share the experiences we have with them too.
Mm-hmm. Now, how's it gone for you recruiting new corps coming in? I love to see Space Marine Tactical, back in the Del Fountain area. When they did some mergers and some splitting and some all kinds of restructuring way back in the day, it was like, man, I hope they come back, and here they are. You've dragged them back in, kicking and screaming. Am I right?
Yeah, indeed. So I actually took a little bit of a hiatus and went down to Losec just to do some field pirating, and ended up flying with some of the guys. They were None. There was their alliance, so that was Pest, SMT, Rebs, and a few other guys. And again, they talked about the fact that they wanted some new content, some stuff that they hadn't tried before. And obviously, with the structure that we have, the layout that we have, they could still be themselves. They still have their own Discord. They have their own way of doing things, but they've brought to us kind of battle royale events and some really, really interesting ideas and things that have helped us to become sort of have that access to new ways to play the game, which has been really nice. Obviously, SMT have come along with that, so they've now got their Citadel as well, and yeah, it's Eve is a wonderful thing in that there is always something that you haven't tried before or somewhere that you haven't visited, and obviously giving that access to those different ways to play the game is something that we're really glad to be able to offer to them.
Absolutely. Speaking of new ways to play the game, what's this I hear about enemy carrier log-off traps and perma-cloaked dreadnoughts and whatnot?
So I mean, I think there was, as it was when there was all of the interactions between Blap and Fear after the separation. It was a little bit like being divorced but still having to sleep in the same bed. And there's certainly some people that still have a bit of a score to settle. And there's been some attention garnered from various entities that have come and decided to visit our space. So we did have an instance of a capital fleet logged off in one of our systems, which they managed to catch a carrier and blow it up, which is all part of the game. No salt from us on that part. It just gives us motivation to find opportunities to get even.
For sure. I remember when cloaking devices sort of first came out, sort of got a little prevalent into the game, back in the day. And now we got cloaking devices on capital ships. Ooh, man. You had some interesting ideas last week about ways to change up the cloaking system. And I know this has been one of the hot topic things in Q&A and over on the Eve Echoes Discord, is what to do about perma-cloaking. Because I like cameras, but I don't like cameras that aren't, some garbage T1 ship. I like cameras, that are that size. I don't like cameras that can literally wipe out my mining fleet in one go.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with who's one of the devs that is responsible for kind of coming up with, as was mentioned in the QA about cloaks, and we did have a conversation with him, and one of the things that they are considering, which was a suggestion from us, was that obviously having cams is something that's very valuable to almost all nullsec entities. It gives you that prior warning of fleets coming in. But that you can use a T5 character and just put it there and leave it there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is not necessarily there's no cost to that. So one of the things that we'd put to the devs, which they have come back and said that had kind of asked a couple of questions to clarify what we were suggesting, and whether this is something that's implemented, who knows, but that there is some kind of unique fuel cell that's introduced to the ship, so that you can put in something that allows your cloak to last for 24 hours or sort of 48 hours or a week. But it comes with an inherent cost. It just doesn't run just on plasmoids, that you actually are going to have to invest for that. And for nullsec entities that want to have cams to keep their Indie and their safe, then it's a cost of business. If an individual decides to start a campaign against a group, then it's going to burn a hole in their wallet. And I think there's a certain satisfaction in that. That if you do want to do it, it's going to cost you something. You can't just hold groups to ransom, parking a cloaky in a system 24 hours a day, with no kind of repercussions with that.
Exactly. You know, if it's going to be an ISK pay to win thing to have a cam network up, some sort of limitation on that would be nice. But I don't like the idea of a real life money pay to win camera system, right? I mean, this is something actually that my stepbrother does. He doesn't even play Eve Echoes, but he hosts a server on his home PC to allow camera systems throughout the game to be set up, and charges real life money for this. Because hey, that's what it costs to run this. But if the only thing that prevents cams being up or not is having extra accounts on somebody's expensive PC, that just becomes an actual pay to win. That money doesn't go back into NetEase's pockets or into the economy. That's straight up a dollar sucked away from our players, put into the pockets of not New Eden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the things. Is it's the same with the events. Like, by all means, have options that if a whale wants to pay for things, they can swipe their credit cards. But I think the best way to have those and to make it openly accessible, yeah, you have to put hours in, you have to grind. But when things are purchasable by ISK or Plex, it leaves the door open for the rest of us that don't want to have to remortgage to have the best stuff in the game.
For sure. And what would you say to just having a regular gigajoules PI fueled, plasmoids fueled, cost on cloaking devices? I know there's been a lot of back and forth about whether this is a good thing, but I'm just thinking like, hey, if you're gonna fly your destroyer interdictor as a cloaky bubble thing, it's not gonna cost you that much fuel. So it's strategically doable because you're gonna run out of fuel eventually. But hey, pick it up from one of your battleship buddies when they come through the system or something, right? But
But I mean, that's
yeah.
That's where the thing comes in, is that there needs to be some kind of interaction. There needs to be some kind of interaction with those cams, just to log them off and have them sat there between downtimes for maintenance, giving those opportunities for players that are going to kind of decide that they want to put the work in to try and get rid of cams, things like that. Maybe they uncloak to be refueled. Maybe there's some opportunity, or that they become scannable after a certain amount of time. Something that gives some kind of counter, I think is quite important for implementation.
Absolutely. I believe there's this feature I've heard of in EVE Online that says a cloaked ship sitting too long cloaked will eventually become scannable. Maybe not seeable sitting on grid, but scannable, that you can get to them after some amount of time. Do you think that could be a viable option to counter the idea of a permacloaked carrier sitting in your mining system?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you have some kind of option to that there is a counter, basically, and I know obviously we've had from the Q&A about that sort of cruisers should be able to kill battleships or vice versa. But I think if you do have something that just can't be countered, it can be very frustrating. And unfortunately, the result of that is not that a player kind of is a little worse off for a while. I think the reality of that is actually if you do that, you end up losing players, because there is nothing anybody can do about it at the moment with the current state of the mechanic.
So moving on to a little bit different topic. I'm hoping Mackenzie's still with us here. BRR has been doing some amazing work all around the galaxies. I've been seeing kill mails coming out of BRR And I just thought I would see them in one region or a next door region or something like that. But I'm spotting these kill males coming in from up north, down south, out east, in Tama, hell, even in dead spaces. I mean, what the heck is this BRR thing?
I mean, Burr hunts wherever the fuck they want. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally the easiest way that I can put it for you. Um, they're not hitting anyone specifically or anything like that. It's not like we're really targeting anyone. I mean, except for Void, we did have a contract out on Void I think last week. So occasionally we do have work. It's a mercenary organization, so you can understand that that's just the nature of the game, right? If you're playing for a mercenary organization, but Burr just it's like Ton or Tophone says there, Burgle Burr. Burr just goes out and sometimes we hunt one person, sometimes we hunt two people, sometimes it doesn't matter. You know, we just go out there, get some content, and come home. But at least everyone is an equal opportune victim when it comes to Burr, and I can appreciate that. There's no group being singled out. They're all losing stuff. So, I can say that good on them for sometimes putting up good fights. Good on OG for coming out there and trying to get some content against us. I'm impressed with at least the fact that they try to roam us. Um, it's other than that it's really just business, right? That's all I can really say. It's business.
For sure. And kind of tying into what we were talking about earlier about alliances who may be looked at as a rebranding from other alliances, but aren't really. You know, Burr was looked at as this spin-off slash rebranding from GenFed, even though I don't think it was ever intended to look like that. Can you talk about how it's been since the fall of Gen, and how that relates to Burr and how it's going that way?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, obviously, we've had some pretty good content with our friends in No, which I thought was kind of cool because I think a lot of people know that I've got a pretty good friendship going with most of the No people, and the only reason why I haven't gotten an opportunity to go and fly with them is due to like school work constraints, right? So
For sure.
lately, Burr has done some duo ops with No while we test out fleet comps and stuff, and that's a pretty cool relationship. We can appreciate that. Um, and I think prior to that, because our buddies in No did take a contract against us. It was like a PPK contract, and I don't think it went quite the way that they were expecting it to go, because
Pirates versus pirates? What's
well,
the world coming to?
I think it had a lot to do with the fact that people thought that it was just going to be GenFed 2.0, because all the major corporations that are in Burr started out in Genesis Federation. The thing about it is the whole point of Burr even existing is because the PvP pilots that made up GenFed wanted to go and wanted to basically form under their own flag. They wanted to trim the fat and not really have any Care Bears. And so even though the Alliance does have people that perform Care Bear acts, because we all have to, make money, right? We've all got to do that. The group is a PvP group, and so it just makes for a different experience than most people expected. And so they thought that it was going to be Genesis Federation 2.0, but what they actually got was like a big fat stack of kill mails that were just pouring in by the day, and us finishing contracts sometimes within 24 to 48 hours. I was part of one of those. It was kind of fun, I guess. Uh, it's I think that it really is just it's just good fun. And for people who think that this is Genesis Federation 2.0, I'd say come on down, roam our space, or try to, right, and see what happens.
For sure. For sure. How has sort of leadership style changed since GenFed? I know you've been part of large group leadership ever since the days of Pantheon. I'm assuming even before, 'cause that's just how you roll.
Well, I am not technically Alliance leadership. I'm not. I told Meliodas, who is the current executor of the group, that if I was needed to do things, please just wait and ask me after next week, because of course I've been swamped by college work, and it's really impossible for me to be able to focus on anything but getting my work done. But come the 27th, I can have a little bit of fun, make some fleets, and do some cool things. And I think that it's been kind of nice, only having to focus really on the corporation. Even in the case of Bell, I don't do everything in Bell. I really don't. I have an amazing team of people who helps to run these things when I'm incapable of being able to play. So at the administrative level, Amy usually takes over and works with our board of directors and make sure that we stay on schedule. And I appreciate that. And at the alliance level, Wise typically takes care of that stuff. So, I mean, as far as alliance administration, no, I'm technically not at alliance administration, and it's allowed me to take care of stuff at home. If the alliance needs me, obviously, at this point I bleed black, so I'm gonna do it, right. I do what I have to do first, and then I and then I I can do all the other things, but like I told Mel, myself, I do once. As soon as I'm out of class, I'm fleeting with everybody. I'm NPSIing everybody. I was like, I'm going NPSI with no, because I've been saying I was gonna fly with them for like forever, right? And and so finally I can go NPSI, and they beat me to it, because then they start teaming up with no and doing ops and stuff. I'm like screw you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's funny when I first heard of a group called No, Please Stop. I was like, what is this? What is this? An alliance for jerks? Turns out, really nice guys. I love talking to Chicken and Mr. Kilroy and all kinds of No folks.
Oh,
Shout out to my
obviously.
Ubros.
They weren't with Chicken and Kilroy. They were comrades before they joined No, so it's a little different with them. We knew them before they became No. But I think that one nice thing is that we had the opportunity to become friends with a lot of the No people, um, before there were our friend, other friends of ours that were fighting at our side in No. So was lucky enough to get a respectful friendship with Colt before he left Tahini. Before and Tahini is of course still doing his thing. I have a pretty good relationship with Run, and of course Clansman, who's out here in a shiny rook. Love the black and red color scheme there. And more importantly than that, I think that even before some of this stuff, they were supporting the radio show. So the No guys were coming in and supporting, and I always appreciated that thing. So I mean, they always were really awesome people. It's just when people who lose ISK, they get salty, right? I the first roam that I did with Mel in Burr, I just went out there. I wanted to take my Cinnaball out and we kill some stuff. And two people literally told me they'd never talk to me again. And that was just for me being in the fleet. Like, I wasn't commanding the fleet. I was just there. And and I got some salt off that one. And guess what? They've never talked to me again. So when you're a mercenary group, or if you're a part of a mercenary group or whatever, you get that. You get some people who take the game personally, and they go, "Well, you shot this or that, so I'm never gonna talk to you again." And that's fine. If they don't want to talk to me ever again because I just did a roam, then cool. I don't know what else to say about it.
Right, right. I mean, it's great to shoot your friends, and it's great to mine salt from friends too.
Yeah, I'd shoot you right now if we weren't in high sec. I came out here, and the first
Exactly.
thing I did, I wanted to test out that theory about PvP cruisers beating battleships. What do you know? Roz is in a battleship right now. But
I've got my Mark 9 heatsink equipped,
oh,
ready to go.
at least you know your phone won't explode.
There you go. There you go. You just gotta equip it on the right ship. They don't tell you which ship you have to equip it on to protect your phone, though. You have to figure that out.
You equip it directly to the phone.
Directly to the phone.
Directly to the phone. Some new code.
Mm-mm.
That's what we're
Well,
doing.
what menu was that in again?
Uh, I, dude, it's that that thing next to your SIM card slot that looks like a SIM card slot but isn't actually a SIM card slot.
Hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
so anyways, I do see that there are a lot of my Burr colleagues in the in chat now. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the people in TSC. We actually have a good number of TSC pilots as well as let's see, representative from Void, awesome. Masquerader from Terran Federation. What's up? My no friends, of course. Chicken, pretty vocal in the sound of us, but I enjoy that. We need different opinions. Taking care of his little girl today. Much love to you for doing that. And I understand you can't always join the show, but I really wanted to debate that one with you on air because if the devs do listen to some of these recordings once in a while, I think it's good that they can see things from both perspectives. And from Chicken's perspective, he has a good point. You know what I mean? You can read up in the Sound of Us if you want to check that out. It was a really long discussion. And we also have Fear. We have Marks from Fear, and of course in the studio we have Blackliner. So, oh yeah, and Boop. I cannot. I literally cannot end the broadcast and not talk about our friends in Boop. So thank you guys for always supporting this broadcast. We try to keep things around that 2 hour mark. If we have a special guest that has some really cool stuff to share with us, we'll usually do it a little bit. We'll go a little bit longer with it, but we try to respect the time. And we also want to try to put some events together now that we're actually doing this, you know, in a space system. For those of you guys that are not in New Caledonia today, ooh, there's some bling out here. Unfortunately, we can't shoot them. I mean, particularly, I believe that Sheeved in this Armageddon with the event core that is looking particularly sexy. Uh, I love the purple and pink. That is badass. That is Sheev Palpatine.
And that
The
and that
Armageddon
glitchy
2.
going on. At first, I thought I was having a stroke.
No,
Like, why does my screen keep flashing? What is it about Sheev that's making me feel like I don't belong in this world? And it turns out it's just this crazy, cool, new looking core.
it is a cool looking core and everything. I still think it has nothing on the core from last year. But then again, I mean, I'm an audio engineer and a DJ, so that's me. But that thing is looking pretty badass. Clansman and his Rook is looking pretty badass. Shout out to Dead Girl from my corporation, actually, in a very ghostly looking Cinnaball. Loving that one. And yeah, I think Roslyn, you're in the Golden Age core for the Oracle.
I picked up that Golden Age just because I wanted to try out this, jumping to ITC systems feature that it has built in, and it actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how it works when you want to combine cores and skins and sort of use this as the base. I know Sheev knows a little bit more about this. He had his skin and core, beauty contest going on. I think it was about a week and a half ago, and saw some really cool styles put together as people mix and match their cores and skins
I know, right?
to really bling it out. And I'm loving this Golden Age. I mean, look at all the detail going on. Just for a moment, I'm gonna turn my graphic settings back to high. Pray that my
Phone
phone
don't
doesn't melt
crash.
down. And I'm kind of liking it. In fact, I didn't even want to change the colors on this thing. I was like, you know what? It looked fresh.
It does look really good. I mean, I wouldn't change the colors on it. And of course, my buddy from Burr slash Nor, Tofanofo, dressed in the beautiful colors of the Imperial Fist. Warhammer reference. If you don't know who they are, go look it up. So yeah, I mean, this is really awesome. We got to get some stuff going on, like some races for you guys. I think we even saw a Tristan out here earlier, so that was pretty dope. I'm gonna take
We've
over.
had quite a few people stop by. I think there was
We
a
did.
total of about, between those in fleet and those who've jumped in and jump out as they fly through, about 30 or so.
Yeah, that
Coming
wasn't
out
too bad.
to say hi, show off their colors, and then fly their way out to Tama, continue the adventures.
Continue the adventures. I swear, we are going to have a PvP competition one of these weeks, and I think that for the prize pool, if they allow us to do it, which I have to look into it myself, if they let us give Duo Omega, or if the devs have to give it or whatever, um, but I would love to give Duo Omega for the person that would win that. So
Speaking of Duo Omega, there's been a lot of talk about the official content creator status, especially over on Rambo's show. Shout out to Echoes of New Eden. If anybody doesn't know the name of that show and ever gets on the Who Wants to Be a Billionaire show,
you should.
that he and Taylor have been doing 2 weeks in a row now. The answer to the first question is always Echoes of New Eden. Keep that in your pocket. Um,
Yeah, yeah, so I mean, the hardest thing is that I don't know if we can actually just buy the Omega and give it to someone. If any of you have ever done that, please like shoot me a message. Let me know how you accomplish that. But I'm not quite sure how you can just give the Duo Omega to someone, like buy it and give it to someone. Because other than that, the only way you can get it is by being an official content creator, and apparently we're not. So,
right.
rip.
I mean, if anybody out there listening cares to pitch a fit over on the Eve Echoes official Discord, they are looking at adding new content creators and giving some of these abilities, like the ability to give out a free Omega Duo as prizes or raffles or whatever it is there. But our show here at New Eden FM doesn't have a subscriber count like you might normally look at to tally up on YouTube. I mean, shout out to people like Damon Zell and Captain Benzie and Sheev and everybody else who are able to pull together some really great content, put out YouTube videos, and get those numbers cranking out. Our numbers are sort of a different style of metric, so we don't usually get looked at the same way. But hey, maybe they'll change up their methodology, coming up if they ever stop by and listen to the show. 'Cause I think we've got a great thing going here. Every Sunday. I look forward to it. I hope you guys do too.
I know I do.
Absolutely.
Do it to it. All right. I believe that is a wrap for this week, though, because we've actually gone that 2-hour mark. So we're not going to keep people all day. We're gonna let them go out and enjoy some content. Go kill each other. I think that.
Heck yeah. Take all these beautiful ships and fleet, and fly them out to Tama and blow them up.
And blow them
Yes.
up, exactly.
And if your father plays the game, it is Father's Day. So challenge your father to 1v1 and let him win. Give him a little pep up.
I'm gonna take my ghetto jump here and jump it all the way to Jita. Whoa, here
oh
it
no.
goes. Let's see how this works.
You're gonna get
Does it look
popped
decent?
right at the gate. You're about to get popped right at the gate. Wait for it. Ross dies in what is this? 1.0.
Ross dies with the sun in
In
Jita.
1.0 in New Caldari.
Oh no, Ross. What are
It's
you...
gonna be the story of next week's episode. Ross dies in 1.0.
Accidentally shoots the station. Accidentally. Yeah.
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, guys. Love, hugs, and kisses. Keep it real. We will talk to you on next week for New Eden FM. I believe 31. We're gonna see what happens with that whole thing. I know I'm gonna be swamped by classwork, so it's gonna be kind of an interesting situation, at least for me. So I guess we'll see, right? But for this episode, thanks for letting us do it dance party style. It's kind of it's definitely my thing. It's a homage to my style, and I love sharing that with you. I also love this book. This artwork. I don't know. All right. Turn it up. Check it out. See you next week.
Gotta make a move to a town that's right for me.
I can't wait for you, Justin, to be on it. Well, we'll see what they say. I said that I would stream it, and we'll see what they say. I think they should stream it, like stream the radio. You know, it makes it a bit more alive. All right, this was it. It's not even for the price, it's for the pride. Yeah. Exactly. Yo, look, it's a cheap date, buddy. Hey, what's up, my man? How you doing, right? I've seen you in the chat, though. I've been reading everything. I've been talking in Discord as everything was like during the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not sure. This might be it. They usually do this longer. We'll see what happens. I think they will jump up into the launch. Maybe talk a bit. I don't know. We'll see. I'll stay for a bit longer. This is my jam, dude. This milkshake song. Oh, by the way, I didn't win, boys. I didn't win a 50% off this time either. Just a bunch of other losers won. So yeah, that's too bad. I wanted to give something away. But no discount. Great show. Once I dig into the event a little bit more, I would be more happy to discuss my stance. Who knows, maybe my mind will change. Now we take blah 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 blah. So Chicken is talking. All right. Oh, Chicken might be... He might try to be available next week. So we might have Chicken on the next week. But you guys will have Chicken on my channel tomorrow or Tuesday. Because I had a podcast with him. I hope you're gonna enjoy it. The Black Joker in Ashimu. This was nice. A little bit nice, actually. Kinda like this one. Not too bad. Quantum is back in the cinema. What? You got the green and orange. Justin, you just keep popping off ships, man. I got more 50% off the dropped code list. Oh, you won more? I only won it one time. I said, like, if I would win it like today, I would just give it away to someone in the chat, but yeah. I'm sorry. Alright. Yeah, just, you know, I'm not here to play games. Oh, you won it 3 times? Dude. My phone needs a heatsink from the last update. Yeah. I'll see you on the next thing, you know. Not sure if it's a stream or if it's a video, but well, it's a podcast actually. So yeah, it's a podcast, and then it's probably one Diablo video is coming out, and something else I can't remember, and I have to play that scary shit again. But yeah, we see. 9 more ships to show. Dude, save them for the competitions, man. You can only use 1 each competition, so we'll see. Maybe we win, maybe you win. All right, I will go. I hope this was okay. I'm I will ask. I will talk to Alondria and Mackenzie and see what they say, if this was good enough. I don't know. And hopefully someone else is hosting the next one. We'll see you guys. Take care, and I see you guys.